Sega are coming out with Sonic Racing Crossworlds. After playing the open beta, it's pretty clear that Sega are doing big things with this game, which is probably why they had the audacity to straight out mock Nintendo in their new trailer. And honestly, they might have a point, because after playing the open beta, it's shocking just how many things Sonic Racing Crossworlds already does better than Mario Kart World. And it all boils down to one truth Nintendo doesn't seem to get anymore, and that is that sometimes less is more. A simple philosophy that, if implemented correctly, could change your life. Let's figure out how. Please like, subscribe. Let's get me to 1,000 subs. Look, I'm not the first person to say this, but I'll go ahead and say it again. Nintendo got way too comfortable with the Switch. I previously touched on this in my last video, so check that out if you want to see how exactly Nintendo have become this evil entity that pretty much just milks you for your nostalgia. But anyway, back to this video. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch, which is why Nintendo clearly banked on Mario Kart World being the game to really sell people on the Nintendo Switch too. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for us as the consumers, because Nintendo needs a reality check, this isn't necessarily the case. Like, sure, the game is doing crazy numbers because they're bundling it with Nintendo Switches and it's $50 instead of $80, so most people are getting it anyway. But to Nintendo's disappointment, most fans aren't just wildly excited with Mario Kart World, and it's all because of these things that they've done. Nintendo really need to understand that sometimes less is more, and Sonic Racing Crossworlds is the best example of why Nintendo might need to step up their game a little. The first thing I want to talk about is the lack of forced intermission tracks in this Sonic game. Mario Kart World forces you to slog through these filler tracks online. Nobody likes them. People literally found exploits to skip them, and Nintendo's response? They patched the game so you couldn't skip them anymore. Like, think about how anti-player that is. Instead of fixing the problem, Nintendo doubled down. They basically said, we know you hate this, but we're gonna make you play it anyway because we put in so much effort into making it the big selling point of the game. Sonic Crossworld Racing doesn't play that game. Boot up the game, and you're in. Straight to the action. No mandatory filler, no ego-driven content shoved down your throat, and the game feels better because of it. That right there is a massive difference in philosophy. Nintendo makes great games, there's no doubt about it, but it's just their recent practices have started to show how much of an ego they're getting, which in turn leads them to feeling like they always have to introduce something super new or super exciting to make them stand above the rest of the industry, when sometimes all you want to do is race, man, Nintendo. Another thing that I personally think Sonic Crossworld Racing does way better than Mario Kart is the player count. Now look, I guess having 24 players on one track by itself isn't inherently a bad thing, but it's just the way Mario Kart World handles this that I'm not really a fan of. It makes the game way too chaotic. There's too much going on. Sonic Crossworld is more of what we're used to. It's more traditional, less exciting on paper, but when you actually play the game and just want to get through a fucking damn race without everybody hitting you with a different item every second, this is just way more relaxing. Like, honestly, bring back 12-player races, Nintendo. Sonic Racing Crossworlds honestly feels a bit more competitive instead of chaotic, in the sense that you can actually breathe, you can actually strategize, you can feel like your skill matters instead of just pure luck, instead of just hoping that you don't get bombarded by the 14th item in the same race. Like, sure, Mario Kart is a user-friendly pick-up-and-play game that everyone should be able to play, but at the end of the day, it's still not just a randomized party game. It feels good to be able to get better in a game and, like, do something and actually get the expected results, as opposed to your fate in the game just being decided by whatever randomized items the game decides to throw at you. And believe me, this is coming from someone who's a self-proclaimed Mario Kart aficionado. I love Mario Kart. It's just really refreshing to see some of these extra tacked on things in Mario Kart World that have become frustrating just being stripped away. Mario Kart 8 is one of my favorite games of all time. That's probably top 10 favorite games of all time for me. And while Mario Kart World is an amazing game, it's just really frustrating as a Mario Kart fan. Two things in particular that have really impressed me with Sonic Racing Crossworlds so far is that the driving feels so much better than past Sonic Racing games. Honestly, I've never been the biggest fan of the Sonic Racing games except for Transformed, All-Stars Racing Transformed. That one felt really good, but a lot of times the cars just felt hard or weird for me to control in the other games. This game really fixes that. I won't say it feels as good and tight as Mario Kart World, no. The actual driving of Mario Kart World, in my opinion, still feels better. the actual handling and controlling of the cart. But when you start adding all these tacked on features like these intermission tracks that are honestly boring, forcing us to play the intermission tracks online, filling up the tracks with 24 players to make things extra chaotic without even a space to think, as well as making the tracks super wide and just a bit more boring in terms of track design, it kind of feels frustrating to get to that actual driving. I will also add that Sonic Racing Crossworlds does feel a bit more intense than Mario Kart World, mostly due to the track design and the whole portal track switching mechanic. The races also do feel a bit more versatile due to the transformation aspect returning from Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed, which again I say is my favorite Sonic racing game, so I love that. I'm a big fan of that. Like, I love features being added. I'm not opposed to adding new features, but the features should be meaningful and improve on the game, not bog it down. Like, Mario Kart World just has a lot of unnecessary features that we don't need. Now, speaking of features that we don't need, let's talk about that open world. I guess this one is a bit polarizing. If you enjoy the open world, have fun, sure. But me personally, I am not a big fan of driving around doing absolutely nothing. I guess, sure, the P-Switch challenges are fun, but then they get old and just expect you to collect these collectibles, and it's like, what is the point of this thing? I thought there was going to be some kind of like story mode or something to give more incentive to actually playing around in the open world. Like, we didn't ask for an open world, Nintendo, but if you're gonna give us one, at least do it properly and make it make sense, make it exciting to us. Like, I guess Nintendo's thought process with this was they were gonna impress people by saying, look how big our world is. We have this open world, you can now explore the Mario Kart tracks freely without any timer. But when the world is big and empty with nothing much to do, it just feels really hollow, and we start wondering why it's even there in the first place. Items in Crossworlds are balanced, unlike Mario Kart World, where items can feel unfair due to the rubber banding system. The whole Crossworlds portal switch mechanic shakes up races really well by allowing players to trigger travel rings that can send you into different tracks with different frenzy modifiers, keeping races fresh and giving trailing players a chance to catch up without having an unfair feeling rubber banding system. Another department where I think Crossworlds really shines over Mario Kart World is in the reward and customization systems. Like, I was a big fan of the whole customization thing Mario Kart had going on, and they took it away in this game. I guess, sure, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I'm glad Sonic Crossworlds still has that going. Industry, please let that still be a staple in future kart racing games. All in all, while these are both great games, definitely in their own different rights, Sonic Crossworlds definitely trumps Mario Kart World in a lot of areas which we wouldn't normally expect it to. It's normally not even a competition. Mario Kart is just always leagues ahead of the tournament. But again, I feel this is a trickle-down effect of Nintendo being super greedy and anti-consumer recently, and it's kind of leading them to be a bit complacent. A lot of people are super excited for Sonic Crossworlds because they're disappointed in Mario Kart World. This could be a chance for Sega to take a big spot in the kart racing niche. And it also got me thinking, as a gamer, or even just as a person, be honest about what you want and don't just accept something because it's tradition, like, oh, I've been playing Mario Kart for the past decade, I have to buy Mario Kart. If the Sonic game feels better, go for it. Same thing with anything in life. Don't let habits tie you down. Take the best value. Also, respect your time. If someone forces useless filler into your life, cut it out. Focus on what feels good, what works, what brings real joy, and not what looks big in promotional trailers or ads. Sometimes cutting out extra things in your life makes everything else you keep matter way more. That applies to gaming and all different aspects of your life. This game got me thinking about that, and that's something Nintendo don't seem to really understand anymore. Sega is really capitalizing on that. Sonic Crossworld Racing is fresh because it dared to be less, because it dared to invest in the good parts, and not just the new parts, or forcing new features or different things. If more companies or people had that courage to always just do less, I think they'd find joy in that simplicity. And you yourself watching this video in life, in your life, wouldn't you rather build something that lasts, feels honest, and makes you proud, as opposed to something that just looks flashy from far away? I don't know. Think about it. Thanks for watching though. Subscribe for more gaming related videos.